I'm a religious kid, missionary kid, preacher's kid. I went to 13 schools before I graduated high school. I know how to leave. I know what my security and safety mechanisms are. I became a performer. You know, I was a rising young superstar and a religious performer, but not a performer in the sense that I was trying to fake it. I was trying to be real, and I was hoping that if I could just do enough of the right religious things that God would heal me. And if I could just pray enough or fast enough or give enough or memorize enough verses or study enough or be involved enough, maybe He would heal me. And I've been asking Him to do that for years. Meanwhile, I wasn't letting anybody in the shack. I had my whole stack of secrets. I had my addictions that were still going on that nobody knew about. And it turns out I'm kind of bright and I'm kind of creative, which actually impeded my movement towards healing because I was able to hide better. And in January 4th of 1994 began my 11 years. That was the day I got a phone call from Kim, and all she said was, "I'm at your office waiting for you, and I know." That's all she said. And the shack is one thing, and I'd created this facade on the outside hoping that people would approve of it. You know, you pick up people's expectations and you try to live up to it. Keep all the inside stuff a secret. What she knew was that I was in a 3-month affair with one of her best friends. So the catalyst for me to deal with my crap was the devastation of the facade. It was adultery. And when she called, I had to make a decision whether to face her. Because, you know, when the facade is gone, all you got is the shack. The thing you hate the most. And I had to make a decision, you know, whether to face that stuff, face Kim, or kill myself, which was by far the easier. I don't even know. To me, it's the grace of God how I ever made it to the office. But when I went in, and she'd already torn it up. I don't have a meek, mild, submissive Christian woman that I'm married to. She's great. And her fury is in part what saved my life. But I said, if we're going to do this, I got to tell you every secret I have, because secrets have been killing me my whole life. And it took 4 days to tell her. And by the end of that week, she was devastated. She said, "I will never believe another thing that comes out of your mouth the rest of your life." And she believed that I'd broken hard enough that she didn't kick me out. And I went into counseling. Kim was furious for the first 2 years. And it took 11 years for us to heal. I went into counseling and began to work on this stuff. And I knew for the first time in my life I couldn't heal myself. And I knew religion couldn't heal me either. And for the first time in my life, I let people in the shack, you know. And I knew I couldn't heal Kim either. And I'd call Kim every day after a session and I'd tell her what happened. And I remember one day I'm bawling on the phone. Because see, when your sexual abuse destroys your boundaries, and you have no boundaries, you're constantly picking up other people's boundaries and trying to stay inside of them so you can stay safe. And I call her and I'm bawling on the phone. I can feel an inside boundary, you know, for the first time in my life, something on the inside that could say no. And she said what she did every day. "Yeah, right, whatever." And it was okay, because I couldn't heal her. I never thought we'd ever heal. 11 years, until the end of 2004. And I was only in the intense therapy for the first 9 months. And that's when Scott, my counselor, said, "You're done." He said, "I thought it would take 1.5 years, but you're done." He said, "We've never had anybody stay with it and work really hard." And he'd warned me. He said, "It's going to get really hard and you'll bail out. Everybody bails out." And I told him, "I won't leave until you tell me I'm done." And he was right. It got really hard. Part of that process, it got to the place where I lost all my hope, because Kim had hammered on me until I'm standing at the edge of the cliff looking down into this big hole of all my junk, and she's yelling at me, "Deal with this, just deal with this." And I'm looking down in there and I'm thinking, what am I supposed to do? You know? How do I go back to before I was 4 years old and try to find something that's real. What about my life is not a survival mechanism or a safety skill? And I didn't think there was anything that was real. And I'm thinking, I've puked on every relationship I've ever had. My kids would be better off without me. And I'm planning a trip to Mexico so that I can kill myself without my kids being able to find my body. And God miraculously showed up in 2 friends. And one went to Kim and said, if you keep hitting him, you're going to kill him. Not metaphorically hitting. And the other one who came to me and said, where are you? And I explained all this. And I said, I'm just a piece of crap, and I'm just dried up, and the wind's blowing it all away. And I'm terrified there won't be anything left. And this woman who's our friend said to me, Paul, there's a seed. A seed. I'm thinking, a seed? A seed, okay. I'm thinking, what, if there's a seed, even if there's just a seed, something could grow. I don't know what it is, but something could grow. Then I think, seeds, they grow good in this kind of stuff. And suddenly all my hope came back. The last time in my life I was suicidal was that day. And I've been suicidal my whole life. It's the grace of God. Every bit of this is the grace of God. At the end of 11 years, I was one of the healthiest people I knew. I have no secrets. There's nothing my family doesn't know, my kids don't know, my wife doesn't know. I have no skeletons in my closet. I have no reputation. I came out with the secrets. I'm the same person in every situation. I'm no different sitting here as when I'm with my friends or speaking or I'm in a hotel room by myself. I am the same person. And Kim says a year and a half ago, we're sitting in front of a group of friends and they all, my history is real public because we didn't want to hide. And she says to them in front of me, she said, I never thought I would ever say this in my life. It was all worth it. And she's not saying, oh, look what God can do out of betrayal and adultery. No, that's damaging, destructive stuff. What she's saying is, there's not anything so dead that God can't grow something in it. That there's not anything so lost that God can't heal it and find it